When you think of Brazil, your mind automatically goes onto long golden beaches. And I left São Paulo because it was too crazy. And I've ended up in Santos. And the beach is just around the corner. I've seen a glimpse of it earlier, but now I'm going to go down and see it for the very first time, properly. Now, I'm leaving the hostel, which is just over there. You saw in the last video what it was like. The people there are so friendly. There's a couple of them that speak English. There is one girl called Sun who speaks no English and is forever telling me what her life's about and what she's been up to through Google Translate. Very friendly, very excitable. And as usual, as I left the hostel, showing my camera to the owner, she did say, be careful. And I think this is one of the things that I need to start remembering, that Brazil, although mostly friendly, there are some dodgy people. Now, as I pass a park on that side, the zoological park, so it's only a small sort of town zoo. It's got some animals, some birds. I think you got to pay to get in. And you would have thought, like a zoo that was just next door to the hostel, you would hear animals all through the night. Didn't hear a thing. So I don't know if they're just very quiet animals that's in there. So this is the street I was warned not to go down for some reason. But Santos city, it's one of the biggest ports in Brazil. The port area is all the way down that area. It used to be big in the 19th, early 20th century for distribution of coffee going around the world. It's still being used today for not just coffee but other things. It's the biggest port in Latin America. And just there is Hostel. Now, if you've ever travelled around Central Asia, you'll know that 7-Eleven is the backpackers' paradise of the shop. Hostel is Latin America's. They do the cheap food, sandwiches, takeaway stuff. So everybody in the hostel is on a weekend holiday. I think all of them, or majority of them, are all leaving today to go back to normality. One guy is going back to São Paulo. He was telling me that Santos is his go-to place to chill out. He's obviously been to Rio de Janeiro. He hates it. Too crazy, too busy. Santos is just right. It's got a chilled back atmosphere. I feel safe. I feel chilled. Nothing wrong with it, apart from a couple of dodgy people. So there is hotels, there is a couple of hostels. I am staying in the cheapest one. And when I say cheap, it's got no aircon. So last night, in an 8-man room, we were cooled down by one fan, which was interesting. But saying that, I did get a really good night's sleep. But across over there is where the beach is. So let's cross this road. As I said, I did come out earlier for a glimpse of down this way, and that is because I went for a run. I thought I decided to go for a 5k, and really just to test out my new camera, which is one of these clip-ons, or you can wear it in your hat. And I thought, oh, let's see how it is for running. And as I came down here, this little dip tripped me up. To the point is I fell over, scraped my knees, my elbows. I'm not very lucky when it comes to running. but more importantly, I smashed my phone, which was in my hand. So why is it me and electronics and body damage? So luckily I've got a spare phone. It's an old one. I managed to transfer everything across so I can still use it. Today's a Sunday, the screen can't be repaired because everything's closed. I have been told by the hostel staff itself of a telephone repair shop that I can go to and get it all fixed up. So a little bit of a dilemma, but it's all sorted. It will cost me a little bit to get the screen repaired, but I'm still in my first week. But this is the beach, and it looks like it just goes on and on and on. Now Santos has the biggest beach garden in the world. It goes on for about 5 kilometers all the way along that way. It's in the Guinness Book of World Records. I got that from Wikipedia. I've not checked the Guinness World Record book yet. Now the sea up here, I was talking to one of the guys last night, is very shallow. It goes out for a long way. You can't really go swimming until you go out for at least about half a k. But look at that. Beautiful. And the waters around here are not the clearest. You need to go more north past Rio de Janeiro to get more clearer water of the Caribbean style. But when I went to Hostel this morning to get some breakfast while I was updating my phone, there was just queues of people with picnic baskets and just filling them all with beers. So there's a lot of people just come here for the weekend, just chill. And there's just so many paths that you can use. I like it. And obviously with Rio de Janeiro being such a touristy spot, it would be crazy busy, full of people. So Santos is just my first introduction to Brazilian beach life, and I like it. Now going back to my fall earlier, just to put your minds at rest, I have got antiseptic cream lathered everywhere because there's no infection to be happening this time. And if you want to see the fall, because I recorded it on my camera that was on my head, I'll put it at the end of the video so you can just see how stupid I look as I fell. But I'm gonna have a little wander down to the beach. It looks like a river that goes through with a couple of bridges. I mean, there's thousands of people down here. And I'll admit, Santos, never heard of it, even though this is the city where Pelé, one of the most famous footballers in the world, played most of his career. And this is the beach. It is just as you imagine a Brazilian beach would look like. And there is a little bit of breeze which is welcoming. Oh, I like this. just up there, I don't know if you can see them. You can see people hang gliding. But there's loads of them. And it just goes all the way down there. So if the garden is about 5 kilometres down, the beach would be the same. So everybody seems to be as close to the sea as possible, and you've got all this space around here that you got 1 or 2 people just chilling, going, "Nah, the water can wait. I want to top up my tan." But it's clean. I mean, with the amount of people here, you would have thought there'd be a lot of rubbish, I would have said, but no. Look at them palm trees. Oh, paradise. So I've left the beach mainly to find some shade because it is warm, just as a bit of a cloud came over. But I've just found this guy here. So, bit of a statue, looks Spanish, Portuguese, European. I'm guessing he was one of the first guys here. Because I've been trying to sort my phone up, I haven't really checked out any of the knowledge of the city. And it looks like there's some shade down there. I can just sit down and chill for a little bit. Oh, I'm still acclimatizing away from the lovely 10 degrees of Darlington that I had about 5 days ago. I'm just looking at that fountain. That's got a surfer in the middle of it. How cool is that? That's amazing. Yep, that's definitely a surfer. Got very long fingers. Obviously there's a lot of surfing going around. That is one long surfboard. Right, shade. Let's find some. So I've just come over another bridge where the river goes into the sea, and behind me is a big massive stage on the beach, so I assume they've got concerts that go on every now and again. And behind that is a little enclosed area where they've got aerobics going on with music pounding and some energetic, excitable girl doing aerobics with hundreds of people, which was a bit bizarre. Now this whole area here is cafes, and I've just tried to find one that sells coffee, mainly because when I went to Hostel for breakfast for my cheap cup of coffee, their coffee machine had broken down, so I've not had a coffee yet. Urgh. But what they do sell over there is alcohol. So there's lots of people that just drink beer, going, this is the life. No alcohol for me. It's just amazing. And even though this is a separate beach from that one over there, you can just see all the people, and it just goes all the way down. It's crazy. You can imagine Rio de Janeiro is the sort of place that, yeah, let the tourists go, let them enjoy that place. This is for Brazilians. Because so far, apart from the Europeans that I met on the bus coming down here, I've not met any other English speaking people. So I've been walking for about an hour and a half now, taking little breaks every now and again in the shade, which is what this is now. But you get the feeling that this is not just a touristy town. This is just lots of locals having just a normal day in their own place. Just people biking, running, walking. Oh, I could definitely stay here for a bit longer. Oh, there's an information centre. I think. Oh, that fountain, beautiful. And I think this is towards the main town centre. It's getting more built up, more shops, more people. And on the beach you will find that there is a lot of police on their police beach buggies. Oh, it's not open. It's a Sunday. So there's going to be no crimes committed on this beach. Police going up and down. I am thinking that I have been out long enough. So I've decided to head back, only because it's a bit far to stay a bit longer, and the fact that I've got another probably 3 weeks of beach life going further down south through Brazil into Uruguay. So this won't be the only beach I see, but so far in Brazil, even though it's the only one I've seen, it's the best one. Once I get back to the hostel, it's going to be a case of sorting out my phone, making sure I've got somewhere to go to tomorrow to get the screen fixed, to get rid of the green screen of death. There is a chance that I might be able to get a SIM card for the phone as well. I've got some inside information, but I've got to check it out first. I just want to rest my injuries as well. Now, I do believe just down here there is a Hostel. Could have sworn I saw it on the way up, and if there is, this could be my first chance of a coffee for today. But what do you think? A place you've never heard of? Really busy, really chilled, and really dangerous when you go for a run. But if you've enjoyed this video, then all you got to do is press that like button. And if you want to see more of Santos, because I'm going to go that way into the old town, there is a cable car into the mountains, which is one of the oldest in Brazil. And there's a coffee museum, but I've been told that it's an amazing museum even if you're not into that sort of thing. Then if you want to check that out, press subscribe. But until tomorrow, the next video, bye bye for now. Oeh.
Caiu.
Yeah,
Oh, that's okay, that's okay. Hey. Oh.